Chapter 9, Graphic Illustrations. Our learning objectives, we have a couple of them. Make use of graphics to enhance reading and apply specific strategies to interpret those graphics, tables, maps, graphs, etc. Graphic illustrations are used to condense. If you've got lots and lots of information, sometimes a visual is better. It's true, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You can interpret lots of information. In fact, that's one of the activities I was going to have for us to do if we were meeting face-to-face, is I would put a picture up and ask you to list as many words as possible to see how many words we can come up with as a whole class. Graphic illustrations are used to condense the information into an easy graphic illustration. It's also used to clarify. You can have information written in the text, but having a picture there that represents that information, that can help clarify or give us a little bit more meaning and to create better understanding using the visual. Graphic illustrations are also used to help us, or to help convince. Looking at a bar graph and seeing a trend over time, that can certainly help us understand or convince someone that something is occurring or something needs to occur. So how do you read the graphic material? Well, read the title. The title will tell you what the whole thing is about. Look for any footnotes or any other information along the side that might explain what you are looking at. It might say something like, the table on the right explains this, or the graph on page 47 refers to this. So look for that information that will help you know what that graphic illustration is all about. And then read the labels. Read every single label there is, the X and Y axis. Read the bar chart. Read the bar, maybe there's a label within the bar. Read everything that you can on that graphic material to get an understanding of what's being presented. Then you can notice the trends, notice the extremes. Where are the highs and the lows, the lefts and the rights? And then basically you're able to draw a conclusion from the information that you are presented. There are 5 basic kinds of graphic illustrations: diagrams, tables, maps, graphs, and flowcharts. Let's take a look at each one individually. A diagram could be a picture or a chart that's labeled. Tables are listings of facts and figures. They often have columns in rows. The columns are labeled, the rows are labeled, and you're looking at 2 different directions. So you're able to take a look at this periodic table, for example. The columns and the rows are labeled. If you think of a multiplication grid, you've got your numbers on the top, your numbers on the left, and you can figure out what the product is in the middle. So there's labeled in 2 different directions. Maps, there's a couple of different kinds. You've got traditional maps that I remember using as a kid, looking at where things are and how to get from one place to another. And things are labeled quite well. The cities, the waterways, the sites, the roads, etc. You also have different maps that show specific things. Like a modern map is a visual aid that's used to highlight population densities. You might see some other things like coronavirus right now. You're looking at maps of where the virus has been found. And so those are very modern maps. Pie graphs, those are circular, and it's usually represented out of 100 or 100%. And they're usually given as percentages. Each slice is a percentage or a fraction of the whole thing. Bar graphs can include horizontal or vertical bar graphs, and the length of the bar is used to determine or represent the amount of what is being discussed, the amount or the number. So the longer the bar, the more of that item. The shorter the bar, the less of that item. It's easy to compare the bar graphs because you're looking at the bars, and the bars themselves gives you a visual representation of how much more, how much less. Cumulative bar graphs are, like the title implies, it's designed to show the cumulative effects as the bar is being added up, or as the segments go up. or if it's horizontal as the bars go to the right. Groups are stacked on top of each other to show the differences. And then you can easily compare the different colors there to see when the color occurred and how much color there is, which represents other data. Line graphs show change over time. Typically, the x-axis or the horizontal axis measures one aspect of data, and that's usually time. As you go farther to the right, more time has passed. On the vertical axis, that usually shows a different amount, some sort of a measurement, but not time. As the data fluctuates, the line will change direction, and then you can see that that change in direction shows change in the amount graphed on the vertical axis, the y-axis. Flowcharts show how things are connected and how they're related to each other. Move from one idea to another idea through the boxes. This is very much linked to the mapping that I had you do. The mapping, if you were to show the relationship between the boxes that you mapped. That's basically the end of Chapter 9. There are a lot of assignments that go along with Chapter 9, and it's basically going through the text and reading those different types of graphic illustrations, reading and interpreting, getting the answers as either true, false, or can't tell. So make sure that you have your textbook, you viewed this video, and that you're able to answer those questions for your assignment and all those exercises. Good luck.